because this is the way it was. But until then, that we saw the dehumanization of the puppet by the puppet masters trying to drive into death in a way that no person that has any kind of moral character would be able to engage in such a thing and allow it to happen. And we cried out. That was the end of it. When VP Harris emerged democratically, and I cried out again when I saw what was happening, as I have been standing by as the Lord had commanded me to stay neutral and keep watch with him. That as I kept the watch and I saw, as I cried out then and said, no more name calling. Trump has been muddied to an unpalatable manner that nobody and a lot of people just hated him for no reason. And even though I had cried out about the attempt on his life, the use of legal means in a manner that is not acceptable in the culture and situations and way of life of the people of America. Trump, stop calling her names in the competition, the vengeance, in order to muddy her so that she will not be acceptable. As some people were in their physical mind and mentality of their mind, thinking on things that they don't know and don't understand. But in that case, good enough, the Republicans, they listened and stopped the name calling. Then I cried out and said that what happened in 2020 will not work. Those that wanted to sneak in and sneak into the minds of the people in order to manipulate and deceive them and cover it so that they will see something that doesn't exist as if it does exist, that it will not work. You must have to state and describe your plan and the policies you are going to implement to ease and alleviate the pain and the suffering of the American people. All that we had was policies from one side, and the other side continued believing that what they did in 2020 will work. Third, was it that she's not smart or intelligent enough to articulate a policy? No, everybody knows it's not the truth. It's not the truth. He couldn't have been a lawyer, and however they looked at it, even a graduate in a high school can be able to articulate a policy if they choose to do so. So we know that it's not. It's just an intentional will to be able not to say anything, thinking that people will see and believe. It did not work. And then when I said there will be a surprise because of what the Lord had shown with me and shared with me, there will be a surprise, and that surprise will be depending upon what both political parties and candidates will do. So you see that in the word of the Lord, that the Lord himself has spoken at the time. And when you listen to the word of God and you listen to God, you will receive the truth. You will receive the truth. And the Lord will guide you in everything that you are doing. And if you follow his footsteps, you follow his plan, then you'll succeed. But if you ignore his plan and throw it away and discard it, you will surely fail. When we talk about the persecution of Christians all over the world, how terrible and bad it is, for that to be stopped, it was ignored. If you have no policy to be able to address the culture wars that is going on in this our great country, the economic problems and situations and social crises that exist, in the pains and the psychological suffering that is dividing America and creating problems among the nation and the people. Then you have chosen to lose, to fail in your effort in order to get into the presidential power. So you see, in these situations, just like Trump in the 2020 thought he could do it by his efforts and supporters and popularity among them. In 2024, it's been a journey for him, and we have seen how the journey went. It's not only that he wasn't winning, as you can see, they say neck to neck. They say it's a neck to neck campaign. They are not sure who is going to win. They are not sure whether they will win. But the Lord already knew. Everybody was calling me, asking me who's going to win, who's going to win. I told them, I don't know. I am watching, as I have been asked by the Lord to watch. And before I go to vote, I will ask him, who should I vote for? As he had told me not to take side anymore, as I had done in the past with the Republicans when I intervened in 2016 and even in 2020 by physically helping and assisting in any way I can. But in this time, as the Lord himself loves all his children, and so as a great and the supreme justice of the supernatural court of God, he remains neutral and he decides, and so I was. Until the assassin bullet came. If Trump thought that he could win the election by himself, and it was by his effort, I'm sure Trump would have been dead, because without, but for my Father in heaven, Jehovah Jireh, Yahweh, I am who I am, that made him to turn his head, then by now the cankerworms would have eaten all the corpse and the body, and then we wouldn't be talking about the President Trump today. Which signifies one thing: it doesn't matter what you do,